Live from Hazard, Kentucky, this is Jammin Jon's Wrestling News. Here's your news for Monday, November 12th, 2018. We start off with some tragic news here on Jammin Jon's Wrestling News. Now, this tragic news does not reflect or relate to wrestling, but legendary comic book writer Stan Lee passed away today at the age of 95. Of course, Stan Lee, the creator of Marvel Comics along with Jack Kirby, and just a horrible thing to hear about. I remember the first time I heard about Stan Lee was back in 2003, whenever I was in 4th grade. There was some Marvel action figures that came out to Kmart and Walmart. They had these comic books that came with them, and I remember buying the Marvel action figures and reading the comic books and stuff. You know, comic books like Thor and the Incredible Hulk, the Fantastic Four, X-Men. I was watching pro wrestling around that time as well. I remember Monday Night Raw being on Spike TV around that time. And Stan Lee decided to go and make a adult cartoon on Spike TV around that time called Stripperella. And they were advertising how Stripperella was going to be like a big show. You know, it starred Pamela Anderson, and you also had Gary the Rat that was on there with Kelsey Grammer. And they were hyping up Stripperella and saying that Stan Lee was the guy that created it, the same guy that created Spider-Man. And that just blew my mind. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. You know, at 9 or 10 years old, I was just like, the guy that created Spider-Man is creating an adult cartoon for Spike TV? You know, and then I found out that he was making cameos in the Marvel movies, and I went back and watched the first Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire, and seen the first cameo of Stan Lee as like a grandpa. And I always enjoyed seeing his cameos in the Marvel films. I always loved seeing those. You know, I loved seeing him in Spider-Man 2 and 3, and I enjoyed seeing him in Rise of the Silver Surfer whenever he got denied to the wedding in Rise of the Silver Surfer, you know, saying that he was Stan Lee. I enjoyed seeing him in the Avengers, the first Avengers movie, and it's just, it's a sad thought to process that he's not going to be making any more cameos anymore in these films, you know, and I'll sum it up the best way that I know how. His death, this is what a friend said on Facebook, his death is like, it's like Walt Disney died. You know, this is like our Walt Disney. Man, you know, he made me a fan of Marvel, and never really was a big fan of the DC universe. I'm sorry, guys. I was always a big Marvel fan, and it was because of Stan Lee, the characters that he created, and just what a down-to-earth man and what a humble man he was, and he will definitely be missed. The wrestling world is reacting to the news about Stan Lee's passing. Here's some comments from the wrestling world. Mick Foley tweeted on Twitter, "R.I.P. Stan Lee. Part of my life since my 10-year monthly Hulk subscription started in 1973. I love talking to him at Comic Cons. Stan was a wrestling fan, and will always look forward to my children shouting out his Marvel movie cameos." Kenny Omega tweeted, "One of the greatest humans in all of our existence. The legend will forever live on. R.I.P. Scotty Riggs tweeted, "Stan Lee created superheroes and villains that entertained for decades, plus influenced many wrestlers' personas and movesets. Thank you for all that creativity." Melina tweeted, "What a loss. Stan Lee was the man. I have so much gratitude for this icon and all the things he has done in films and the comic book world. His legacy will live forever, and so will my love for his sweet mustache. I want to live life like Stan, with a big smile and to the fullest. R.I.P. Jerry Lawler tweeted, "R.I.P. Stan Lee. You were marvelous." SoCal Val tweeted, "How very sad to hear of the death of Stan Lee. What an icon and what a life he had. I was just talking about him recently at Universal Orlando because I was so thrilled to see him added to the Spider-Man ride. He left such a legacy." X-Pac tweeted, "Thank you for so many cool things you've given the world. Way too many to count." Hurricane Shane Helms posted a photo of himself with Stan Lee and wrote underneath that photo, "Simply gutted and damned heartbroken to hear about the passing of Stan Lee. He's had as much of an impact on my life as anyone. I started reading comics when I was very young and I've never stopped. The characters, the worlds, the universes that Stan helped create brought joy and entertainment to myself and millions of others around the planet. Thank you for everything, Stan. You're a true icon. And I want to send good vibes and well wishes out to the family of Stan Lee. He was simply the man. Twitter account at WrestleVotes noted the following about a Raw vs. SmackDown storyline idea for Survivor Series that doesn't appear to be happening. WrestleVotes tweeted on Twitter, "Heard of a really intriguing storyline that isn't happening, but worth noting. The idea was that SmackDown will invade Raw tonight, but prior to it, someone from Raw would be tipped off, thus creating a traitor storyline. Shane McMahon would then work to find who alerted Raw they were coming." Lance Storm recently spoke on 4FWOnline.com about the Undertaker vs. Triple H match from Super Showdown. Lance Storm said, "I don't have the desire or the cardio level in me, and to be perfectly honest, it sounds horrible, but I watched the Taker Triple H match from Australia, and that made me never want to wrestle again." Thanks to RingsideNews.com for the quote. Cody Rhodes addressed a recent knee injury with the following post on Twitter. Cody Rhodes tweeted, "Good news is my doctor is fairly confident that my MCL, PCL, ACL are structurally sound. Bad news is the meniscus is fairly damaged, going to require a scope. No dates will be adjusted at the moment, and I'll definitely still compete in the Final Battle main event and at Wrestle Kingdom." Good vibes and well wishes out to Cody Rhodes. I can't wait to see him at Wrestle Kingdom. Former WWE star Neville, known once again by his indie name Pac, wrote the following in response to fans that have accused him of being on steroids. I'm sure all of you have seen the recent photo of Pac. Pac wrote simply on Twitter, "I am a steroid-free savage, fueled by only hate and vengeance." The WWE announced the following today. WWE.com has learned that the stakes for the WWE Mixed Match Challenge Season 2 have gotten positively royal. In addition to earning supreme bragging rights over 9 other elite mixed tandems, the winning superstars of this season's 14-week round-robin event will receive the coveted 30th entry in their respective Royal Rumble matches in January 2019, giving them a greater opportunity to win the celebrated free-for-all before going on to headline WrestleMania. In addition, they will receive an all-expenses-paid vacation to anywhere in the world. Don't miss WWE Mixed Match Challenge Season 2, Tuesdays at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Pacific Time, on Facebook Watch. During an appearance on Lillian Garcia's podcast, Mojo Rawley addressed his current status in WWE. Mojo Rawley said, "It's been stop and go for too long. I am new in this business, but I've been long enough to know that things have to happen and they need to happen now. In wrestling, I haven't accomplished nearly what I want to. I think I'm one of the most underrated and underutilized guys in the company. Years from now, I'm going to be grateful for this. I missed out on a lot of pay-per-view paychecks and a lot of opportunities, and I haven't won a title yet, but I don't want to be that guy. I want to have the same career path in WWE than I did in football. I want to have to suffer through this, and I want to appreciate this, so when I do have those bigger moments, I know that I earned this, and I took this." Thanks to WrestlingNews.co for the quotes. At this time, Matt Riddle vs. Cassius Ohno is not scheduled for the NXT TakeOver War Games 2 card. Instead, the match is expected to happen prior to the pay-per-view and will air on the WWE Network's NXT television program. And finally, here on Jammin Jon's Wrestling News, Jason Jordan provided an update on social media regarding his neck injury. Jason Jordan tweeted, "I'm ready to attack this week and make huge improvements. I've been trying to keep my eye on the prize and look at the big picture. I'm still on the road to recovery, and I'm very optimistic about getting back to where I belong." It's a great mindset to have. That is your news for Monday, November 12, 2018. Check back here tomorrow for another Jammin Jon's Wrestling News Flash Briefing on Amazon Alexa devices. Big shout out to everybody listening to this on YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. Stewie Family is the name. Follow me on Twitter at John Caldwell, JONCOLWELL. Follow me on Instagram, the Jammin Jon. If you'd like to sponsor Jammin Jon's Wrestling News, or you're a wrestling promotion wanting to get your next big event out through the awesome power of Amazon Alexa, you can email me, jzcaldwell@gmail.com. That's JZCOLWELL@gmail.com. Big shout out to Ryan Hurdle and Tony Nelson for subscribing to my Patreon. You too can subscribe to me by going to patreon.com/JamminJon. I have free packages on there ranging from free to $7. Not a whole lot of money. I would really appreciate it if you supported me a little bit financially. Once again, that's patreon.com/JamminJon. This is Jammin Jon saying thanks, goodbye, and Excelsior.